Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well. I'd like to welcome you all once again to another episode of Detroit by Night, The Motor City Broke Down. Episode 46, Blood Body Bag. Now, perhaps some of you are wondering what's in the box. You know, the one that Mouse and Rashad had liberated from the docks, stealing away a large portion of the circulatory system's, well, stock. Maybe it wasn't quite what Mouse had in mind. When they finally got it to one of Rashad's warehouses, they ended up finding, when they opened up the back of the trailer, that the roof and walls were made with rails. Dozens of people slid in on sheets of plywood, stapled to them, tied to them, hanging from them, arranged like slides you'd put under a microscope. Right now, Rashad and Kowalski have had to end up taking their leave. Currently, there's some kind of argument on whose property it would technically fall under. Kowalski certainly ended up helping them get the location of the container. In fact, is solely responsible for them being aware of it. But in truth, it was Mouse and Rashad who ended up managing to get it out and sneak it past the Second Inquisition. For those of you not in the know, the Second Inquisition, a government body that the Kindred have dubbed the Second Inquisition, are currently using the military. The military itself has put Detroit on lockdown in a state of emergency. Though, let's not mince words, this is martial law. Many intersections are covered with cameras and checkpoints. A lot of Kindred are going hungry, unable to hunt their normal routes, and the kind hiding in their homes, businesses having to shut their doors. And the more this city goes into a stale, smoldering ruin, the more desperate Kindred get. But making matters worse was the Flan epidemic. There has been a bit of a resurgence of it. Flan, you know, that street drug that is oh so sweet. Makes you feel powerful. Well, maybe it makes a little bit more than just feel powerful, though oftentimes it'll cause people to lash out at the slightest provocation. You know, for the most part, it's all good until a Kindred feeds on a person who's on the drug and gets locked into a perpetual frenzy. You'd have to put them down. So now, with everybody trying to stay off the streets, huddled together at night when it's past curfew, there's only so much you can do, unless you have a past like Rashad, who's been using his government contacts and influence in order to open up some gates. Tonight we'll be focusing in on Mouse. A Mouse, you've been instructed, obviously you're not just going to leave this, well, shall we say, treasure trove of blood. And somebody's got to go through it. Somebody's got to see how many people are still alive. Somebody's got to figure out what to do with all these kinds stapled to boards, breathing through oxygen masks, lot of them look malnourished, barely cared for. Others are swollen fat with tubes down their throat to force feed them. And you now have a moment to yourself. A tempting chance to feed, most certainly. But certainly you're going to need to go through and at least get the dead out of there before they get the living sick. What are you thinking in this moment? This new night and this new responsibility and having your first real card to play in the game after so long.
It's tough to look at all of these people. But I have been trying not to think too deeply on it, simply because this is a necessary part of a lot of Kindred's existence at this point. Lucky for me, I don't necessarily have that gag reflex that people usually get when it comes to feeding on animals, but I don't know. I've tasted a lot of things, and I'm not particularly picky. I guess that has a lot to do with the fact that I grew up not having the luxury of being picky. But looking at all of these people, it just hurts a little bit. But I know what I have to do. I know that this is just one more ugly thing that I have to do in order to survive, in order to help others survive, in order to play my own cards right, to make a difference somehow.
What a card to play. That being said, is there an intent with tonight, or are you waiting for Rashad to return? After all, he could be gone with Kowalski for quite some time. Hell, for all you know, he could be just burying the poor son of a bitch in a backyard somewhere. Not willing to give up your trophy.
I like Kowalski, and if I had gone with Rashad, I probably would have traded, instead of taking something for myself in the request that I made to learn that heightened senses trick, I guess, and trade it for the actual cargo instead. But Rashad decided that he wanted to do this on his own, so I'm not going to complain about that. But something happens to Kowalski, then Rashad's going to owe me pretty big. So right now I am just trying to shut off the moral part of my brain and pull out the people that didn't survive.
It's a little tough. Like I said, they're stacked up, or standing, I should say, like slides. You can pull them out with relative ease. But the struggle ends up becoming a little bit more as you go deeper in. It seems that you have at least 5 corpses on your hands as you're pulling them out. But as you go deeper, you do find something strange. You find one corpse with a chunk of wood placed between its teeth and a small hole drilled in. Looks like it's not much larger than a medical tube. It's duct taped to his head, and you can end up seeing that there is several tears in his chest. It looks like, well, if you had to guess, this individual's been staked repeatedly. Really has never healed. Maybe it was never given the point. The stake is there. You can see his body's limp.
Kindred. I'm gonna look over this person. Do they have like clothing, personal effects, things of that sort?
They do have clothing. It seems like might have been a nicer suit at one point. Not really like Armani or anything like that. More of just a dinner jacket you would have bought off the rack. You get the impression that this person was dressed to try and impress, but really doesn't have the money for a tailor.
Huh. And he's just crumpled in the corner, or is he on
No,
one of these slabs like
he
the
is
others?
on the slab like anybody else.
Shit. Thinking on it, would someone have, like, since I'm so young, would I know if someone would have selective tastes as to kindred blood?
Roll me an intelligence plus politics.
Well, that's not a terrible dice pool, and I'm not at a penalty anymore.
No. I guess I should also ask for a rouse check because we haven't done that bit of housekeeping.
Is it the same night? Because I thought we started this night already.
No, we're starting fresh just because of Rashad having to go and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay,
you're given plenty of time to work.
Okay, success.
You're fantastic.
Perfect. I don't have that getting in my way. It's the last thing I need.
Ooh. Okay. Mouse, you're not sure if it would be a necessity, but you've been exposed to enough to know that this would be quite the interesting taboo. And after all, Mr. Kowalski does offer dining experiences for kindred. Looks like you just found one.
Not to mention that Gutter's mentioned to devouring people. Kindred specifically. I don't know if that's something that was unique to his tastes or if that was just a threat. Hector seemed to think it was a thing. Looking at this person, and if I were to open their eyes and just kind of look at them, does it look like they have? Does it look like they're just staked, or they're torpid, or?
That would be a wits plus occult.
What's it called? All right.
The only thing that comes to mind is the stake. The stake is there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But
To keep them there, I'm sure.
Whether they're if they're in torpor, then pulling the stake out means that they have no blood in their system and they are a dried husk. But if not, well, guess it's a roll of the dice.
It's a long shot, but I want to attempt the beast to see if I can try and figure out how hungry this person is. That's only going to land on a crit, but long shot. Mm.
Definitely kindred. There's definitely a beast inside that flesh.
Mm. Well, I don't know very many people who have a particular taste, so I am going to be very cautious about pulling that steak out and pull it out just enough that they become mobile again, but in a
Yeah.
good position that I could shove it back in if I need to.
Well, they're currently chained down into this board, though you're pretty sure if this
Pretty sure
individual
that doesn't
has.
mean anything.
Yeah. The chains might hold, but whether the board does is a different story.
Yep.
So you pull out this board, or this stake. It's at that point the individual immediately gasps back to life very sharply. They don't
Uh,
appear to be frenzying, at least not yet, or maybe they just haven't gotten their bounds yet.
hello. Uh, who are you? What's your name?
He, the man chained to the board kind of looks at you with a "Are you stupid?" look, and then looks down at the fact that he's got that piece of wood in his mouth, duct taped to his head, which is probably gagging him and stopping him from speaking.
And thankfully, you don't have to breathe. But this short thing with the stake in its hand that just removed it from your chest. It's hideous, almost like it's been burned, or its skin is charred. Its eyes glow yellow, and it doesn't really have fangs so much as like akin to shark's teeth. It seems to be wearing some kind of hoodie. It says asylum across the front.
I'd like to get an assessment of this individual. Just very much liking to check whether he's either a butt fugly human or something else.
I would say probably roll. I wouldn't even say roll. I mean, they knew to talk to you. They don't seem particularly surprised that once you reanimated, the second that stake was pulled. If definitely a disfigured kindred. Nosferatu probably, but you might have seen one or two things in your day.
Yeah.
Mouse.
At the moment, it's just a look of looking to the kindred in front of me and down at the gag, back to the kindred, back to the gag, kind of hinting at maybe if you want him to talk, you should take it off.
I go to remove it slowly, cautiously, so it doesn't bite me.
The duct tape is easy enough to tear. Hurts like son of a bitch. Probably remove the first layer of skin. How long has that thing been there? And that chunk of wood just falls out of your mouth. It's hanging off the side of your face with the intact duct tape.
He just kind of looks you up and down, waiting for you to answer.
My name is Andrew.
Andrew. Okay. Nice to meet you, Andrew. Why? What? 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 Why? How?
You're not one of them, are you?
Them?
You have You have approximately 10 seconds to answer the question. You're not one of them, are you?
Them who?
You know, the people who do this.
This? The what? This cargo
Do you not?
container?
Yes.
Well, that depends on who you mean. Because that could be answered a lot of different ways.
What was the name? What was the name? What's the names that I heard?
You have a funny accent. You're not from
Yes.
Detroit. You're not from the U.S.
Detroit. I mean America?
You answer my question first.
The name. Circulatory system. That's the one. Circulatory system. You're not a member of that, are you?
No.
Good.
Are you?
Well, obviously not, considering I am chained to board like.
You know, I don't know anything about that. So, I don't know. You could have volunteered part of your existence.
See, I don't know who would ever volunteer to do something like this, but Kowalski. You've heard that name. Where is Kowalski?
What concern of that is yours?
I have been here. I have no idea how long. It is one of the very few things that I remember. I very highly suggest answering my question.
Not here. That's important.
Of course not here. Why would he be here? Why would they be here? Why would... Look, you
Start
seem
from
like... You
start
sound
from
like
the
a nice
beginning.
fellow. Look, you seem like a nice fellow. Would you mind getting me down? I will explain everything to you, but I would rather not do it whilst chained to board.
You're not gonna. How dangerous is that gonna be? Because you know, I don't know how long you've been here. You don't know how long you've been here. When was the last time you ate?
I could not tell you, and I'm not going to lie. Yes, I am very hungry. No, you do not look especially appetizing, but yes, I am hungry.
Okay. I'll see if I can find something really quick.
I will take anything.
Okay.
Kind of not in a position to be picky right now.
Mouse, what do you do?
Well, I don't want him to move, but I'm not entirely sure how it is that I'm going to be able to draw blood from somebody without actually, like, removing him and having him do it.
Even even something like a dead body would do the trick.
Well, there's plenty of those.
Mouse, doesn't that sound suspicious to you?
That's really gross.
Yes, well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Do you think I would judge you if you were in my position?
I want to insight check that. That seems real weird. No kindred that I know feeds off of a dead person. Is that a wits?
That would be a wits insight.
All right. And I have Versus Kindred as a specialty.
Okay.
Yes.
Seems to be on the level. Though that sounds really weird. You know, feeding on dead things, you just throw it up.
Ugh.
I mean, even you can't. You can do animals, but dead never crossed your mind.
Okay. If he's not going to be that picky, then I am going to gently take one of the corpses and approach him with that person and kind of hold the body close to him so he can feed, question mark?
You can watch as you're carrying this dead body. And there are several individuals who are on these who are now awake. It's been enough moving and shaking, a lot of them are scared out of their minds. But then they see you bringing in one of the, well, I don't know what the hell the condition of the person is. Most of them have no line of sight on Andrew, but you slide the body between the planks and bring it up to Andrew. Andrew, what do you do?
As soon as the body's in bite range, I'm gonna get in on that. I'm so goddamn hungry.
Yeah. Andrew, it's like sucking moisture out of a worn-out gym sock. It is sweat. It is salt. It is coagulating into like that slippery jelly that you can't get out from between your teeth. It stinks so much, but you do manage to end up dragging it down. It's sustenance, barely, but you are able to drain the body for what's left, what is still drinkable to some extent. This body has got to be dead for at least 2 days.
How much would I like from
Only one,
anyone?
but it's enough to at least take some of the edge off.
As he finishes the draining, he kind of removes himself a little bit and shudders in his lap.
Yeah. Mouse, this view makes you want to gag. You are watching him feed from decayed, rotten, coagulated blood. It's more black than it is red at this point.
Oh, that's gross. Ugh.
Let me tell you, it's shit.
Kind of
Gets the job done.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. So, start from the beginning.
Well, before I do, I have a couple of very simple questions to ask you. Very simple. What year is it?
What year is it?
Yes, what year is it?
2019. June, I think.
He kind of seems to process this information, but like, fucking Christ.
Why? What? Why? Now you know what day it is. Now you know how long you've been out? Question mark.
I've been stuck in this damned container for 27 years.
What?
27 goddamn years! You can see that he's pissed. Not necessarily at you, but he's pissed. And he's like,
Andrew, you can feel the beast raging up. That constant companion. You know, that familiar thing. It feels good. Feels good. You kind of almost forgot it was there. It's one thing to be hungry, but to be mad, that feels good.
Andrew, what's your last name?
List. Kutnazov.
Kuznetsov. Okay. Where are you from?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg?
Yes, you heard me correctly. Winnipeg.
Okay. 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 And he starts to paste the container a little bit.
You tell me what that means.
You're in Detroit.
Yes, you've made that much very obvious.
And Winnipeg, in your absence, decided Detroit was theirs.
Wait. They decided it was theirs. Like, how so?
I don't know. Give me something decent, then something juicy, and I
Like-
might just spill the beans.
Like, are they here? If they decided it was theirs, then the court must have come.
What does that mean to you?
You must tell me. I will share, but you must tell me.
I asked you the question first.
You know, it wouldn't take much for us to just rip through these boards. Wouldn't take much at all.
Ugh. It really wouldn't, but it serves the purpose. It does not get us any closer. I am, how you say, acquainted with the cult.
Uh-huh. That doesn't do anything for me. Lots of people can be acquainted with the court.
I was stuck in here on order of the Prince Dufresne.
So this was a sentence.
You could call that.
It would make sense that something like this would be a punishment for somebody who maybe did something that wasn't liked.
I did nothing wrong.
What did they think you did wrong?
Call it a matter of guilt by association.
Oh. Okay. Sure. Pride is here.
Andrew, you remember Pride. Pride's one of the good ones. Yeah. Every Nick would end up coming to his part of the domain back at that bar. What did they call it? The zoo? Individual of high respect. Not a primogen, though oftentimes would be treated as such. You always got the impression that there was always more going on with him, but he always kept it simple.
Pride. A simple man. A good man. As much good as anyone condition could be.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else?
What would that kind of information be worth to you?
Of course you're going to sit there and politics. Information this, prices that.
I try to be a good person, but at the same time, I gotta know whether you're worth it. Do I stick my neck out for you? Or do I not?
Andrew, I need you to roll me an intelligence plus politics. Difficulty 2.
um.
Never your strongest suit, I know.
I mean, sure. No modifiers.
No modifiers.
Yeah.
You might be able to. Tell you what, Andrew, I'll allow this at a win at a cost.
Okay, what's the cost?
The cost to him being that at some point tonight, you're gonna run into a face you really don't want to run into. Have a blast from the past, as it were.
I'll pay it.
Okay. Andrew, it occurs to you that maybe you just forgot about this when you were in, but you just realized Detroit's not a Camarilla city. And the way this thing is talking to you, and the way they're reacting, you might be in more danger than you thought.
Wait, Detroit. Detroit. Oh, fuck. I. Uh, I.
I could always stick the stake back in.
Please do not stick the stick back in. This is the first time I've been properly conscious in 27 years.
I don't want to.
I must ask, what is your allegiance?
To Detroit.
Detroit. Fine, let me ask different question. What is Detroit?
That's a tough question to answer right now. Kind of changing every day.
It's changing every day. Last place I thought that I would find myself. In a shipping container. Central board. Dealing with a Sabbath lick.
Mouse, there's a word he used.
Sabat. I don't correct him.
Duly noted.
The name's Mouse.
Mouse. It is a... I suppose at this point a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You sticking your neck out for me. How so? What risk do you take on by helping someone that for the most part is, at least as far as I'm aware, pretty much forgotten?
You could stay forgotten. You could walk out of this place. You were obviously chained to this table to provide meals to certain people. So...
Oh, just know that it is something I could change on my own whim if so desired. I'm not going to. Because I know for a fact you're holding that stick and you're very much ready to shove it back in my chest. But I could. Something gives me the impression that you are not, as you said, you are not a member of the circulatory system.
Mm-mm.
Something gives me the impression that this place I am in wasn't yours to begin with, was it?
I mean... Kinda depends. Kinda depends on how you look at things. Things that come through these docks, or those docks, our docks, get periodically inspected by the people who run them.
So you're some
And we
kind of...
decided we wanted it.
So you are... what's the word? Requisitioned. This... what... package, I suppose is the right word for yourself. Then... you answer my questions. You let me down from here without sticking that stick back in my chest, and I will see that I might try to be of some assistance.
What can you do? What are you good at? What's your niche?
I would like to show a bit of strength to break free from the board.
The board's not particularly difficult. I would say it's a difficulty 2 strength athletics. You wouldn't be undoing the chains. The chains are more there to hold your torpid body in place, but it was never designed to cage you.
Oh, that's messy.
Yeah. So, Mouse, you see him kind of pull the chains taut for a minute, and then almost as though he's bringing his fists together, which are chained fairly far apart, you just see that the entire board becomes splinters. His mouth grows wide, fangs growing large and outward, like as if for a briefest of moments he is in frenzy. And for such an individual, he's not overly built, but you just see him like shatter this entire thing into splinters.
Oh shit.
You were warned about Winnipeg Kindred, but now you get to see it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay. Impressive.
You asked me what I was capable of, Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I am capable of.
Okay.
That and more.
What's your goal here? What do you want?
There is. In the end, there is someone I wish to find.
Mm-hmm.
But that can come later. First, I need to know what's going on. Being out of the loop for 27 years, things have probably changed, and I need to get up to speed, and quickly.
Okay. Well, long story short, 2019 is basically the year in which Winnipeg and Prince Dufresne and a couple members of her court decided to come to Detroit, declare praxis, try and take over, and here we are.
Wait, Prince Dufresne is here.
Apparently so.
Well, things are a little worse than I thought. What else can you tell me? General things.
Well, something you should be aware of when feeding. You probably don't want to feed on anyone in the outside of the city simply because there's a bit of a drug problem that causes people to frenzy.
Noted. What else? Remember, I've been out of the picture for 27 years. You need to think big.
That's hard. Because I was only embraced like 4 or 5 months ago. So.
Oh, I'm dealing with a fledgling. Even better. Look. He's kind of shaking a little bit. He's like, I apologize if I seem blunt, but you must understand there is a lot must have happened, and the more out of the loop that I am, the more in danger I am.
I've given you answers to those questions. What are you giving me in return?
Well, you said you needed help sorting this. Well, it looks like you probably need a little bit of help sorting this. What? You said you were inspecting this cargo, as it were?
Mm-hmm.
You answer my questions, I will give you immediate assistance in that matter, as well as answering any other questions that you might have on the note that what I tell you remains confidential.
I mean, confidentiality is pretty pricey.
At least confidential in the immediate term, i.e. this doesn't get back to Dufresne or any of the Winnipeg court.
You have my word that I have no intention of helping them at all.
Then it seems, little mouse, we are in business.
Alright. You said you could help get rid of the bodies? How do you intend to do that? You don't know where you are.
Well, let's start by assessing my surroundings, shall we?
And cautiously, I'm going to lead him out of the container.
Yeah.
Andrew, this looks like an old storage warehouse. You end up seeing that there's a lot of broken car parts set aside, windows and what have you. They seem to be kind of enlisted by some kind of case number. On first glance, it's almost like evidence for random acts of breaking, but it's not a police warehouse. That's certainly true. Um, Maybe insurance. Most of the windows have been blocked off here. You can see a pile of a few corpses. Mouse hasn't even taken them off the spruce, so to speak. And you see a whole bunch of frightened people who are currently laid up against the wall, chained much like you were not too long ago, as they end up seeing you and suddenly walking free. They end up trying to scream out, but obviously that's a little difficult with the gag and gas mask, which allows them a bit of oxygen. You think that a few of the corpses have died of asphyxiation or malnourishment, maybe dehydration. You look about, you can see an office upstairs. You seem to be in kind of where the loading dock meets the rest of the warehouse. There's only a single truck, which is what pulled you, or what you just got pulled out of. A few doors to the outside.
I still got that steak in my hand, by the way.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt you're ready to put it right in his back at a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we shall assess loading dock of a warehouse. Okay. 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 Relatively nondescript surrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with these dead bodies. I may, as much as I hate it, I might try and get the rest of what I can from them. And then we can see about maybe removing them from the sprues and compacting them a bit.
Compacting them. In what fashion are we talking about?
I'm talking physical compaction.
Ooh. Okay.
You wouldn't happen to have a barrel or two around the place, would you?
A what?
Barrel.
A barrel.
Yes. What do they call them here? 40 barrel, 44-gallon drum, things of that nature.
Would I know whether Rashad has something like that in this warehouse?
You definitely know of a few containers that you can end up using. They're mostly wood crates. Probably defunct engine parts and stuff like that in them.
I can probably find crates, but drums?
It'll do. Just something that we could stick the bodies into and get rid of. Because unfortunately we do not have ways of getting rid of flesh. Not without much risk.
Right. These people were probably snatched away from wherever they were, much like you were. And them showing up in Detroit would kind of get a lot of questions.
Yes, very much so.
I hate this.
Which is why we must hide them. Trust me, little mouse, I do not like this part either. It is an unpleasant, but it is unfortunately the nature of our existence that we must do this. But while I do this, I must ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You say you swear allegiance to Detroit. If Prince Dufresne has come to claim praxis in this city, it's highly unlikely that the city is under sabbatical control. Who runs Detroit? Who is in control?
The Barons of Detroit.
Barons.
Look, if my being Anarch, now that we have that kind of out in the open, I wasn't about to just forgo these details to you, Camarilla, but
Like, look. Normally, it would most likely be at your throat. Considering one of my coteries sympathizing with you a lot of the reason I ended up in that situation. But, and here is the operator here. I am not in a position to make such threats or to deny such assistance.
fair.
What is the proverb? Beggars cannot be choosers.
And if you don't exactly like Prince Dufresne, because she wrongly accused you,
Wrongly accused is a misnomer. Think of it more as a blanket punishment for a cult. If one screws up, we all screw up.
group
But,
accountability instead of individual. I wonder how that worked out.
huh, it wasn't the decision that I chose. Let me tell you that much. And he's gonna begin untying the dead bodies from the sprues because, well, the first thing that they need to do is he's gonna take as much as he can from them and then
Okay.
turn them into bits and pieces that they can then begin to hide in crates.
Mouse cannot watch because he will gag. He's gonna go. He wants to keep an eye on this guy, but he doesn't want to watch him.
He's like, I am sorry that you must see such brutality. Trust me,
Disgusting.
yes.
You can feed up unto one hunger on these corpses. But when Mouse leaves, there's a thought. You can make your way to the door. You could run right now. You're fully fed. Well, it's full without a fresh victim to kill. Hell, if you wanted to, there's nothing stopping you from taking out any one of these other hors d'oeuvres. And you can run.
Oh, I am not going. Running, I could run into a city I have no idea about. Into the unknown. I do not know enough. Hell, I could run. I could. This little one could be lying to me, and I could run straight out the door and right into the waiting fangs of Prince Dufresne. I am not leaving. In here, at the very least, I know I am somewhat safe. So I will do as I said.
How do you end up getting rid of the bodies at this point? You said you want to dismember them, chop them down, make them more compact, but with what? Or is it a particular instinct of yours kicking in? You got everything you need on your person already.
I think I have everything I need on my person.
Okay. Mouse, you hear the snapping of bone, the rending of flesh, the drinking, the snapping of tendon, muscle. It takes a little while, but eventually Andrew is standing amongst pieces of corpses, Like somebody took a whole bunch of jigsaw puzzles, put them into a single box, shook it up, and now you get to figure out which piece belongs to what.
While he was doing that, I would occasionally, out of the corner of my eye, be looking at him, but otherwise, kind of making sure that the rest of the container is actually in good order. Like these
Okay.
people have enough nourishment to be able to last for like a day, or get stuck with that anyway.
Doesn't look like they have any nourishment.
I have to feed these people at some point.
Probably doesn't help that the birds in the wings or in the rafters, those random birds that keep ending up in warehouses and fly around for days inside, are currently looking at the spare pieces, and they seem to be waiting for Andrew to start leaving and giving them a chance to make off with a thumb, an eye, a tongue.
Were those birds here before?
Yep.
I'm guessing this is me the first time. I would probably notice these birds as well.
Probably. You're still figuring out your location. Mouse has been aware of them, but it's nothing that doesn't stand out from an old abandoned warehouse.
Actually, those might work in our favor. I will educate you, Mouse. If you were ever to feed dead body, if you could, do so only if you very much must. It tastes like shit. But silver lining, I don't think we'll need those crates.
He looks around. He notices the birds kind of flying around.
And I'm thinking I might call upon those birds to help me.
Okay. What exactly do you do, Andrew? What does Mouse see? I guess is the best way to say it.
Andrew's gonna raise his hands to his lips and is gonna make some rather. They sound like bird calls, but they're
Something
quite a bit more disturbing, a bit more unearthly than just simple bird
There's
calls.
something more guttural about it, right? So, Andrew, I'd like you to roll me a charisma plus animal kin and any specialties you have.
Yeah. Yes, I can do. Do have specialty in. Will be charisma and animal. But specialty.
Have I heard similar calls from Gutter when he would call down his crow?
No, this is different. But I am going to need a rouse check from you, Andrew, to do this.
Yep, because I am using the thick. I can round. Should do it right. Gets a little hungrier.
Maybe, but sure enough, Mouse, what you immediately see is them. All of these birds start coming down. They just descend upon the corpses as Andrew kind of turns away. You can see he's kind of got a bit of a grin on his face as, these birds start pecking, tearing little chunks out, gnashing them in between beaks and sliding it down their gullet. Scavengers.
Does that give me a clue as to his clan?
I don't. Yeah, this is definitely a clue, but whether you've actually seen this in action, you've seen Gutter do this same trick, not in the same way. It seems to have manifested very differently than what he does, but
Hmm.
the trick seems similar.
Hmm.
And it's like, it is unpleasant, but it will get the job done. So now that is being dealt with,
Okay.
Detroit is now an anarch city. Am I gathering that correctly?
Yes.
I see. I would say it is better than what was, marginally.
Marginally. Okay.
Now, what happened to make the Sabbath leave Detroit?
Beats me. That's before my time.
Just before your time. And what is the state of the city at the moment?
Clusterfuck.
Elaborate.
Always a clusterfuck is Detroit.
Yes, but I mean specifically, like, as of this very moment, as we are standing here talking in this warehouse, what is the city like? What is going on? Give me an idea of the general happenings.
That's a long story.
Condense it into a couple of points.
I think I already did.
Andrew, you need to see the night sky. Yeah,
Yes.
the warehouses don't really suit you. You need to fly free.
I am
Stretch your wings a bit.
Going to get a little fresh air. You may follow
No.
me if you wish.
Yeah, you're not going by yourself.
That's fine. I just wish to lay eyes on the night sky for the first time in getting closer to 30 years. You must understand, being in a box for so long, it's...
Monotonous?
You could say that. And, he will...
You make a run for it. This stake is going back in your back. You know that, right?
He's just like he doesn't even look back at Mouse when he says, "I'm well aware."
All right. No sudden moves.
No, go out, get some fresh air, no sudden movement. And he takes a breath in.
Andrew, you step outside. The night sky has that orange, light polluted haze. It's a lot brighter here than it is in Winnipeg. You can see the skyline, skyscrapers. You end up taking a look around, and still the same garbage in the corners and the gutters. Looks like trash hasn't been picked up for quite some time. You also notice, if you just poke your head out through the gate a little, there is something going on there. Military? Looks like they're setting up a checkpoint or something.
Is it? Is that a military checkpoint?
Huh. I suppose so.
What is the military doing so frankly in Detroit? Please don't tell me that this is like the epicenter of a masquerade breach or something as crazy.
Eh?
Eh?
That about sums it up. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's kind of nuts. Um, best place for anybody to be is to stay put, mortal or otherwise.
Setting up checkpoint. It looks like that would normally denote something like martial law. Who was pissed off and who breached the masquerade in such a fashion? Such that the kind would pull in their own military.
To be honest, I don't know what set it off. But it
Log-
dominoed. It
Log-
dominoed real bad.
Well, obviously. The drug epidemic, martial law in city.
You woke up in a bad place. Wrong place, wrong time.
Suddenly, that box doesn't look like such a bad deal after all.
I could put you back.
I was being facetious, Mouse.
It's hard to tell with your funny accent.
Of course. But it seems that you have pulled me out of fire and into fire, so to speak.
Yeah.
Out of box and into. Well, I could only call this apocalypse.
Pretty much.
Andrew Mouse, you hear a vehicle that's approaching.
Oh shit.
Whether it's actually coming into the warehouse or it's just crossing the boulevard, you're not sure.
We will.
I'm making sure to go. If we're outside, I'm making sure to go back inside.
Yes, I think I'll also go back inside because that is enough to observe because that is the last thing that I need right now.
Andrew, would you be able to roll me a wits plus awareness roll?
What's awareness?
Yes.
Can I also assist?
Yes, you can.
So I get +1 for teamwork.
+1 for teamwork. Yep.
Alrighty.
Oh.
Okay.
Hot
Wow,
damn.
the mess just keeps coming tonight.
Yeah, but it's enough to catch it. 6 successes. Andrew, there is something that just catches your eye as you drive by. The wares are different. There's definitely somebody who just drove by. You see a military Humvee, but at the driver's wheel you see a familiar face. You might remember them as the one who tore you away from your sire, the one who was adamant on having your head taken or staked out to the sun, one who has a particular vendetta against your entire line. Dekka, the scourge, and your fangs are out, and Mouse, you can see that Andrew is pissed off, like something fierce or something animalistic in his behavior, and every bit of him is fighting to not just jump out and chase whatever the hell just driven by.
I am gripping that stake closer and readying it just in case he gets a little freaky.
Is she coming towards the warehouse to pull, or is she just driving past the boulevard?
She's driving past. Doesn't seem that she's aware of your presence, or if she is, she's hiding it.
Mouse, stay hidden.
What? You look like you're not in a good place.
The woman at the wheel of that Humvee will kill you if she finds you. Stay hidden.
and I'm just backed up against the wall, not looking around the corner at all.
Andrew is also going to hide.
Okay. I'm going to need stealth checks. This is going to actually be composure plus stealth. It's more a matter
Each?
of Yep.
Does urban outdoors or remove silently go into effect?
Not remove silently. Urban outdoors, yes.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a balls roll.
Oof, that is a fail. Methinks I will willpower.
I don't really have willpower to spend.
I do, luckily. So I will willpower.
You need
Got
a
two
bestial
normal
crit
dice.
to beat her.
I do.
But then again,
No.
no. Okay. All right. I will. Okay. Since both failed, but I don't see any there, I will allow a succeed at a cost.
Oh boy.
Oh, what's the cost?
The cost being that there will be an unexpected visitor.
Oh, that one too. Ugh.
But it's either one of you can accept, but you both get the cost.
I have a good idea there, Gavin.
Do you think it's worth it?
I don't want to be spotted by Deca.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be spotted by Deca either.
I don't want to be spotted by Deca. Okay, I think we're gonna take it.
All right.
Yep, we're gonna take it.
Mouse is getting very concerned because he is also not very fully recovered.
You both try and stay perfectly still. You kind of treat it almost, what was... Andrew, there was that movie that everybody was talking about way back when. Big special effects. Big monsters from the past. Have to stay perfectly still.
Oh, you mean Jurassic Park?
Yeah,
I watched it. I watched that. I think I.
Yeah,
It was very interesting.
you, much like in that film, you're pretty sure she only detects movement. You are doing everything you can to stay perfectly still. There's no showing that she sees you as she ends up driving by, along with the others who are in the Humvee. Seem to be a few soldiers, though a few of them seem to be lightly hazing, shall we say, as they end up driving off. If you could breathe, now would be a good time to breathe a sigh of relief.
Yes.
And Mouse, having gone still for a moment, would have probably disappeared from your periphery in that moment, but comes back when you make a movement when you make a movement yourself.
He lets out a noise that sounds like a sigh of relief. I hope she did not see us.
Yeah. I've had interactions with her. She's not nice.
Even for us, she has a debtor against your entire line.
Wait. Are we talking about you?
Yes, Mouse, we are talking about me.
What has your line done against Deca?
Andrew, you wouldn't be able to answer that. You just know that Decca and your sire have been going at it for, well, longer than you've been kindred, and probably more than twice that. Their fight, so to speak, is almost as old as the city itself. Winnipeg, not Detroit.
My sire and Decca are at odds with each other. Have been for a very long time, longer than I have been kindred.
That odds doesn't surprise me. She doesn't seem like the type who would get along with many people. You know, giant guns and all that.
Trust me, she isn't.
So, now that you're here, now that you're kind of up to speed,
Yes, now that I am kind of up to speed.
you're kind of stuck here.
Well, obviously.
I don't know. I'd be perfectly okay with just leaving you stuck here, taking our cargo and leaving. But you don't like Prince Dufresne. You don't like Decca. You're kind of okay with Pride. I'm not a fan. What else can you tell me about them?
What else can I tell you about them? Decca. With her, what you get. She is completely deranged, even by her clan standards.
What is her clan?
Would I know that, Dirk?
Sending you quick notes now.
Okay. Just because I'm not exceptionally aware on what I would know and what I would not. Let us see. Yes. Take someone who has a tactical mind, a military mind,
Mm-hmm.
and a nasty, vicious streak. Someone with exceptionally heavy focus, very heavy convictions, almost obsessively so. And then you add Malkavian madness on top. And that little mouse is Decca.
Mm. Okay. That's interesting to know.
Pride.
I know he's Bruja.
He is. He is what they call a biker type.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
That
of like what
doesn't
you see in
surprise me.
motorcycle gigs. With him, he carries a good sense of honor and integrity. I would say he is one of the few people that I have had interactions with as far as the Camarilla goes, who he is one of the very few people I have met in the Camarilla who is willing to give fledglings a chance so long as they keep themselves in check.
Hmm.
You listen to him, He will not steer you wrong. He will try his very best to give you the chance to succeed, to fulfill your ambition.
Does he have a tendency to kind of step on people's toes when it comes to domain?
He can.
He will. You know him to only do so if the domain is not recognized. If it is formal, under Camarilla law, he will abide.
He will do so if the law does not recognize the domain.
Oh well.
If it
That's
is
a thing.
if it is noted on the Camarilla law, he will abide.
The funny thing, that Camarilla law tends to exclude those who choose not to be Camarilla.
That it does.
That's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem with a lot of things, Camarilla. Is the Camarillas willing to help all of those who declare themselves as Camarilla? They're willing to help you feed. They're willing to help you have a place to stay. They're willing to help you set yourself up for success.
Mouse. We are not here to discuss the philosophy of
You
Camarilla
want
versus
my help?
non-Cam.
If you want my help, and give me a reason why I shouldn't just leave you out to the sun, because Camarilla.
Because I also have information on the rest of it, especially the prince.
That would be especially useful to me.
Then if
But-
you play
Are you still Camarilla, being that you're in Detroit? And you don't have any of your backers here? Because from what I can tell, you are by yourself.
there is one who would help me. And if the word of Prince Dufray's punishment hadn't spread, then maybe I could get some backing from them as well. But otherwise, yes, I am pretty much on my own. There's no real way to say what it is I am and what it is I am not at this point. Everything is a vortex of change.
And Detroit is very much a toilet bowl of change.
So it is something that I must figure out. But for now, you did not call me enemy. I said that I would assist you, and I will. Let us move.
Why? I'm Anarch, and you thought me Sabat.
Because I do not have much of a choice, little one.
Given a choice.
Given a choice, I would not have been stuck in that shipping container. But that is the rub, is it not? Choice is a thing.
Everybody makes their own choices. It's whether or not those choices get you in trouble, that's the thing.
Yes. Which is why I made the choice to help you. Because either way, what do I have to lose? My life? I go to Prince Dufresne. My years would be cut. My life would be cut short very, very quickly.
As would mine.
Exactly.
Being that I'm monarch.
Exactly. So you would see that the choice is pretty much clear, wouldn't you say?
Who's your friend?
My sire.
And that is?
Her name is Sam. Short for Samantha.
Hold up. Hold up. Samantha.
Yes.
She's tried to kill me too.
She is a hunter above anything else. So that is not surprising. But I would say do not take it personally. As impersonally as you possibly can.
How does one not take being attacked personally? Not take it personally.
Simple.
It's kind of an attack on my person. And I'm not a fan of it.
No, I wouldn't imagine that you were.
What can she do to help you? Help us. Help me.
Well, considering I would hope that she was looking for me, having her as an ally is probably better than having her as an enemy, wouldn't you say?
Not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this at all. Because I am confused. I'm going to be honest. Because all of this kindred bullshit is confusing.
I will put it to you like this, Mouse.
I'm also an inquisitive person.
Samantha used to be the scourge of Winnipeg.
Used to.
Deckard took that position because of my Godri's actions. And by extension, my actions.
And for all intents and purposes, you just got lumped in with the crowd. Right?
Exactly correct.
I want to inside check that.
Andrew, is there anything that you're trying to hide in this particular point?
Is he bullshitting me?
On that point of being lumped in with the crowd?
Mhm.
No.
Okay.
On all of it, does all of it seem like it adds up? Or is he being fishy at all about his words?
He's Cam, so I suppose you have a bit of a hesitation on itself. I mean,
Everything about it's fishy.
but everything he's also saying adds up and might explain something you've seen at the docks.
Yeah. Might
Now.
explain a lot.
There is more information that I could give you. Information on the prince, on the sheriff, on that harpy Telly.
Nobody seems to like her.
She's a sadist. She enjoys picking on people. She enjoys toying with people. Of course, people do not like her.
Makes me wonder why she's still Harpy.
Because the prince enjoys things quick and decisive. Dufresne ran Winnipeg as Survival of the fittest.
Well, it certainly seems like something like that's going on here now. So, let's be the fitter ones.
That is what I would like to be, yes. No.
Andrew, I'm not even going to make you roll a check. You happen to notice that the birds immediately just scattered off the corpses and started flying to the rafters.
We may have company.
Oh, shit balls. Mother bitch. I'm
Calm yourself. Get ready.
going to find a place to hide and be able to keep an eye on Andrew, but keep an ear out for whoever's here and Cloak of Shadows.
Very good.
I think.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking I probably want to hide as well.
All right. So Cloak of Shadows, Mouse, I'll let you end up doing that. Andrew, you need to end up making me a Dex stealth check.
Oh, fuck. Why is he here?
Now, as you both hide, you can hear the jimmying of window, the breaking of it.
Oh, fuck.
You end up seeing a particular individual. Andrew, you have no idea who this is. You recognize this as Mr. Green, a very prominent member of the Deadheads who, well, runs the annex, though the annex has been closed for a little while.
And he's gonna find my cargo.
And Mr. Green is currently shifting himself. He's a larger individual, so he doesn't fit particularly comfortably through the window. You can see that he lands hard, and it's not a graceful landing at all. It seems like he lands shoulder first on the concrete. He starts to crawl back to his feet. He's sniffing the air, looking around. The scent of blood is not far off, but he's sniffing around. I would like you both to end up making me a wits and medicine roll.
Would you allow for intelligence?
No, this is piecing together what you see.
Okay.
I am not very good.
I'm not very good at this either.
Oh, that's actually not terrible.
Jamal, he seems a little hobbled. Andrew, you're looking at this individual moving, and you know this movement. You've been around long enough to know when tendons have been severed. Parts of his body are not functioning properly. He is heavily wounded. And given the fact that it hasn't regenerated, you would also assume that he's very low on blood.
I don't like this. I don't like this. He's gonna steal something. I gotta stop him.
Okay. He is definitely following his nose.
Is Mouse close by to me?
And not too far off. You both were in speaking range, so I imagine when you hid, you're going pretty close to each other.
Like, stay back. Wait for my signal. We will stop him. But you must watch and wait.
I am watching and waiting, and I am still Cloak of Shadows, so that when Tyler Green gets in front of me, I am going to jump him.
As soon as he comes by, as soon as he comes by, if he doesn't spot me, I would actually like to ambush him with a grapple.
Okay, well.
I've got some plans.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then by all means, initiate your grapple check, and I'm going to give you a +2 since he does not see you coming.
Sweet. So this will be strength plus brawl.
Strength plus brawl plus your bonus, and
I have a grappling specialization.
yeah.
So that'll be a +3.
Andrew, you see that this individual is he's slowly coming in. He's about to come around the corner when you manage to end up grabbing hold of him. You throw him up against the wall, forcing his arm behind his back. You realize that his arm is broken. Like, you have no leverage when you're hanging on to this. You're just twisting a broken piece of meat.
And I'm gonna pin him there with the intent that if he does try to do anything, that I'll put him into a different Sambo style hold. If he decides to not comply. There's a little crowd like, pick the wrong place, friend.
The fuck are you?
I come out of the woodwork and get into Green's sight.
Oh, for fuck's sake, should have figured.
Mr. Green.
You know, Mouse, you had one job, which was to show up. You know,
Yeah, got busy.
Got busy, yeah.
Got busy minding my own goddamn business.
Busy killing Cross.
I didn't fucking kill Cross.
Bull fucking shit.
I am the fucking worst liar. You know that.
Didn't mean you didn't do it.
I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't do that. That's not my style.
Bullshit.
I didn't kill Cross. What happened to her?
Raided the club.
Who did?
They did.
Who is they?
You fucking know.
Who is they? And I press just a little harder. Second Inquisition? What the fuck is a Second Inquisition?
You've been asleep for 27 years. Give it a rest.
Okay. First off, who is this fucking lick? You get new backup, getting new friends again, Mouse?
No, not a friend. An acquaintance who owes me.
Look on me, you bastard.
He's like, if you keep talking, I will take that arm that is hanging by a thread and beat you with it.
He snarls a bit. And I need you to roll me a intimidation plus charisma, and he's doing the same. This is a social combat.
Yep. No modifiers?
No.
Would I have a modifier?
You do have a modifier. You have a Mouse's presence.
So that'd be +1, I'm guessing?
+1. Yeah. Okay. And that's going to end up... He settles down for a minute. You can see his fangs out. You can see very clearly, and as you're hanging on to him, you know full well this individual is so close to frenzy. He's trying to settle down, but not exactly his strong suit.
Mouse stick.
Oh, you better not, you son of a bitch.
I will if you don't calm your fucking tits.
You fucking tunnel rat.
Yeah, I'm a tunnel rat. What of it?
Fuck you. You really think you're gonna get away with this shit?
Get away with what, Green?
Yeah.
What do you think I'm doing?
What I think you're doing? I think you're playing the corpse. I think you're playing them because right now I end up here trying to end up hunting down any form of food, and everybody can smell the blood for a mile at this point. Everybody else is hiding, but anybody with a right nose for it can smell it on the wind. You got people in here keeping it look abandoned, no one checks. I can smell it.
And you know, desperate times call for desperate measures, Mr. Green.
Oh. What are you? Now all of a sudden you're the authority here?
Yeah, I am the authority here. You want anything out of this place? You have to go through me.
I will tear your fucking throat out, Lick.
No, Mr. Green, was it? No, you will not be doing no such thing. As I said, play nice, and we will play nice. Do not play nice, and I will rip off that arm of yours and shove it down your throat.
Thing of it is, Green, is that I am more than willing to assist my fellow kindred. I am very much a man who wants to see this city thrive, to see all of us survive this Second Inquisition bullshit, to live another day. But
You
not
still have to answer that
without
question.
cost.
Roll me. So this is gonna be his remaining willpower versus your manipulation plus leadership.
Alright, this is not gonna go great.
Well, plus side, you only have to deal with his remaining willpower. And you see him kind of lean his head against the wall, the one that he's being pressed against. And he kind of looks to you. Hangs his head a little. And maybe there's still a little bit of that ego of his. After all, as a Brujah, they don't tend to bend too easy. But he lowers his head as you speak.
The only problem that I have right now is that I am expected to provide this as payment on behalf of the corpse, was it? 'Cause they offered it to me. So, why should I give you any?
Maybe because I end up sticking out my neck for you.
In what fashion?
You and I both know Holloway had your ass dead to rights.
Never liked Holloway.
Whether you like him or not, ain't the point. Mouse, I really need to feed. I need this. And right now I can't go to my club. Cross is gone. Holloway's gone to ground. And God knows what the fuck Kate's up to.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually, that Holloway would leave all the rest of you to rot. Didn't seem like he gave a fucking damn about this fucking city. Or the people in it.
He'll be back.
One of the people.
Go ahead, Andrew. What was that?
He's just like one of the fatal flaws.
You want a drink? Okay. What do you got?
Same as
I'm willing to give you a sip for having stuck your neck out to me, for me, in regards to Holloway. A sip. You steal food out of the mouths of other kindred, you will pay.
He lowers his head a bit. Mouse, I don't have that kind of pull no more. Everything I got, they end up taking. And I'm not gonna lie, I will, out of respect for your position, I will inform you that right now I am fucking starving, and you give me a kind, I will drain them dry. I can guarantee you that, and I won't be the only one. Mouse.
Then you will make it worth my while.
What do you need? Give me some understanding on what I can do.
I want... What do I want? I want Fitzgerald back.
You want Fitzgerald back?
Seems like a doable request. I mean, given enough people that would probably want what I have right now.
You want Fitzgerald back?
Right now, it is under the supervision of Pride. Your club was on the edge of my territory. And it didn't really cross your mind to inform me when it is that problems started creeping up. Especially about Flan. So, I don't expect you to do anything that isn't out of your particular repertoire of skills. But that's my goal. I want my domain back.
Word on the grapevine said that you ended up giving that up to someone. That true?
I gave it to a trusted friend to maintain.
And this ain't gonna step on their toes. All right.
If I can get around to getting a word to them, then no, it shouldn't.
This be a lot easier if I start cross. Oh, baby, what they do to you.
I am sorry for your loss, Green. I didn't know her, so I can't sympathize. But I can empathize because I've lost people too.
We all have. Mouse.
So the best thing that we could do right now is not come at each other's throats. Work together. Make the Elysium that happened the other night actually make sense and make worth it. Because for all intents and purposes, we're all fucked. Regardless
Wait.
of where we are.
Wait, you set up an Elysium?
Yeah. First one called in many years, from what I understand. And
This is a very strange city.
quite. But working together to survive all of this gets everyone surviving. If we leave people hanging out to dry like Holloway did, then nobody lives.
So, just so I understand the deal, I get fed,
Mm-hmm.
and you want my assistance in getting your piece of the pie back. Out from that fucking psycho Pride. Andrew, you don't like the way he's referring to Pride in the slightest. There's something about the beast inside that says you should just mash his head right into the wall right now.
I refrain. Barely. I will. Right.
I would hate for all of this to come to blows. But I want that back. I want the Camarilla out of this city ultimately.
Alright. And you get that back, and you end up getting everything back up in order.
Mm-hmm.
I want one other thing.
Okay.
I want my club back. I want it to be recognized under your domain, your protection, when all this settles down, regardless on what the fuck happens. If it's so important, your domain's so important to you, then I'm gonna need someone to look after the little bit around. You dig?
I think that's agreeable.
I'd like to have something to look forward to after this
You
clusterfuck.
will have your club. You will have a club. You will be protected as much as I can offer. And the more people we have the more people we have together, the easier it'll be.
I'd shake your hand, but it's kind of being forced up my ass right now.
Oh no, you misunderstand. It is not being your ass. I could make that. I could make that happen if you so wish.
All right. That's what we'll do then. And you want a whole kind. You want your club. You want my protection. I want my domain back. I want the Camarilla out of the city. I think it's a fair trade.
Right. Okay. Gonna be tricky. Can you
Everything's going to be tricky.
Can you get this monkey off my back, please? All right, now that we have an accord.
Andrew, let him go.
And he'll move him into a position so that he's not able to be that Andrew is not being able to be attacked by Mr. Green, and then we'll let him go. Go on then.
But in the future, if at all possible, and the streets are still flooded with flan, and you want another drink out of here, you don't come to us starving.
Might be me coming by pretty frequently then. Mouse, I don't know if you know what it's like out there, but there is no one wandering the streets. There are no clubs to visit. Right now, the most we can end up doing is fucking breaking into homes, and that's hard enough without making noise and then catching
I understand.
some wind, you know.
Oh,
You're forced to act in a way that you haven't prepared for.
well then I really was right. I woke up with apocalypse. This is just him musing in the background.
My goal right now, right this second, is to make sure that we prepare for the way that things are right now. Ultimate goal is the domain. Immediate goal is getting people fed. And not starving.
Guess I shouldn't be surprised. He starts to hobble, like as if he was going back on the blood trail. And starts to walk towards, and as he rounds the corner to see the Tatlio work, he's like, what the fuck is this? Looking around as he sees people who have been tied to plywood, splayed out, open, dealer's choice, and a bunch of remains that have been half consumed, picked to bits by ravens.
This is desperate times.
Mouse, would you be able to roll me a charisma plus intimidation at +2?
All right.
He still gets one willpower die. You kind of see Tyler Green. The mister's gone. His shoulders are slumped. This is a shell of that proud Brujah you knew. As he looks at this, looking at what you're doing, and just starts to walk towards the closest individual.
I'd like to stop him.
Okay.
And it's just as a quick hand. It's like
He doesn't even fight you. You can grab hold of him and you can tell there is no fight left. What you're handling in your hands right now, Andrew, is a broken man.
Now, which one was it that you want? He speaks quietly.
Let me double check here. I'll be honest with you. He stops. Thinks about it for a minute. It's almost like the idea of choice has never crossed his mind. I've been partial to redheads with a bit of bourbon, hot off the dance floor.
Well, this is not dance floor. I'm sure there's a redhead in here. He's gonna go and look for one that fits somewhat that description.
Okay, you go through it. Give me higher or low.
Give me a high.
Okay. Not quite. Still, the person definitely is redhead, but that's about as far as it gets. Still, the fact that you got even one of those is kind of, well, I guess you wouldn't be too surprised given the stock in here. Are you gonna...
The slides are removable, aren't they?
Oh yes, you can load up with, almost, yeah, you can almost load 30 people into that with no issue.
I'm gonna slide this one out.
Yeah. Tyler's just watching you as you're doing this. You've seen this done 100 times, probably more. It's been done to you certainly 100 times. As you unload individuals who don't match and place them aside, you can see them squirming and crying and trying to get out. Some of them are unconscious due to malnutrition. Green ends up walking over and starts to feed. Are you doing anything to stop him or to restrain him? It's very clear he has very little control over himself right now. He is wounded. He is emotionally drained. You're experienced enough to know that this man has like no ability to hold himself back once he starts.
I'm gonna move this one away from the truck, out of the sight of the rest of them. Have him follow, and then once I put it on the ground, I'm going to gesture and turn away because I don't want to look at that.
Okay. He's gonna try. He has 0 willpower. It's a controlled environment, so I'll give him +1. Yeah, that's nowhere near enough. So what you hear is the moans through the gag and the duct tape. What you hear is something voracious. A never-ending hunger that has been eternal. As long as man has walked the earth, this hunger has existed, and its full fury, its insatiable appetites for blood and sinew take over, and this wounded man becomes a true animal, jumping upon this individual. You swear that the noise, as quiet as it is, echoes. Takes a minute. It's at that point you can see Tyler at this point gets up. He seems exasperated. Blood is dripping from his mouth, staining his clothes. There is meat where a human being used to be. He stands, almost refreshed, renewed. At this point, you can see that his arm knits. And he seems manageable at this moment. His bones crack into place. You can hear the sounds of sinew growing back into place, the tendons reconnecting, the several wounds he has taken. It's rough, but he's still intact.
Better?
Much. Oh, fuck. God damn it, what the hell did I just do? Fuck. God damn it.
We all hate it, Tyler.
I get it. I get it, Mouse. I really do. I get the game. So, you gonna have me call you Baron now? Is that what's gonna happen? If that's what you want, all right. I'm your man. I get it. I know where my supper comes from. I know what hand feeds me. I ain't stupid.
You don't need to use a title. That's a lot. Just Mouse.
Just Mouse. He wipes off the bottom lip and licks the blood off of his hand, looking at it. The scene, vitae slowly coursed through his veins, giving him life again.
So long as you do me right, I'll do you right.
I got you. I got you.
So, now that that's taken care of, what happened to Cross? It doesn't seem like she'd be the type to get caught up in shit.
Cross. She was at the club when they came in. We didn't even get to the headlines before we found out about this whole lockdown situation. I came out first, and when I ended up coming out, all of a sudden I realized that I had a bunch of guns drawn on me. She didn't wake up so quick. I think that's why they weren't paying attention to her when she came out from, well, guess that don't matter no more. Suffice it to say, she thought she could end up getting the drop on. She did. Put them all to pieces. We thought that might be enough time for her to get the escape. The second that we end up stepping outside and starting to run, we start running into checkpoints. She tried to buy me some time. And I saw her get minced to shit. She's tough, but not that tough. Only so much you can take before the body gives out. I love that woman. Now,
Mouse just nods.
Mouse, I have seen thin bloods eating thin bloods out there, fighting over scraps. I've seen individuals who would have ended up making you look like a joke now all of a sudden running out in the streets. I've heard some have kidnapped whole families, locked them in the basement, and are hoping to just get by on them. And I've heard that those that are still out on the street trying to feed on people who are still out on the street, they're losing it. And then becoming obvious. And then they're put down. They call them rioters. And there's a whole bunch of disquiet going on. There's a bunch of red armbands who are starting to gather together. Starting to form as a march against these individuals and get shot none. Maybe because all those are happening in the daylight. Fitzgerald, this goddamn mess.
The Red Armbands are run by Pride.
That's what you said.
This is fucking nuts.
I don't see any way out of this, Mouse. You tell me you want Fitzgerald, all right, I will give you everything I can, but I don't have much left. Everything I had was put in that club. Everything I had was put in the cross.
The thing about long term is, at this point right now, long term can wait. Grudges can wait. Long term goals can wait. We make it out of this, we have an eternity to set back up.
And I think with that, we're going to take a little break. Welcome back to Detroit by Night, the Motor City Broke Down. Episode 46. Blood Body Bag. Now, just tonight, Mouse had discovered amongst the bodies, amongst the kind that have been shipped because of the circulatory system, gained the ability to steal out this entire herd directly from under their nose. Thank you to Mr. Kowalski. Found a kindred, one of his enemy's own, Andrew, a individual who at this point has been released and is owing Mouse quite the debt. He's not the only one. After evading Decca, who was in a Humvee driving past the warehouse trying not to bring attention to themselves, Tyler Green, having to evade capture, wounded, shot to pieces, half starved, more than half, ended up crawling his way, breaking into the warehouse, following the scent of blood after carcasses have been dismembered by Andrew, trying to end up hiding the bodies and having them picked apart by ravens. Mouse and Andrew subdued the individual and came to an understanding with Mr. Green, as you would. They sacrificed a member of the kind. Now, that being said, Mouse, just as a little bit of housekeeping before we begin, is there anything that would prevent you from taking 2 stains for Arcane and murder? Because you knew it was going to happen. Andrew, you will take 2 stains. You could have intervened at any time.
Yes.
But you instead delivered the body.
I can't really... I don't think it would.
Very well then. That's on your conscience as much as it is Mr. Green's. That being said, at this point, you now find yourselves in a, well, quite the situation. Green has now just been fed. His wounds have stitched just a bit. And Mouse has told him that the price is assisting in reclaiming Fitzgerald from the Second Inquisition and the Camarillades' pride. So, with that in mind, let's continue to tell this tale in the Motor City that broke down. Mouse, you see Tyler. He is rejuvenated, at least a bit. Mentally and most certainly physically, as his arm is knitted together. Andrew, you find yourself now in between 2 anarchs and still trying to catch up with what's going on, as it has been a full 27 years. Almost 3 decades have gone by of you being in a box, fed just enough blood to bleed it.
So then, Andrew looks to Tyler. This Second Inquisition, what is it?
You don't know.
He's been
I've been
in
in
a
that
box
box.
for 27 years.
Ugh.
The Second Inquisition, Andrew, is the FBI and military answer to Kindred threat.
Think of them like a secret service.
Except they're not being very secret about it anymore.
Well, depends on how you look at it. Military became aware, but I don't think they know what they're hunting for.
No, but the FBI had a reason to call in military presence. There wasn't rioters or things equivalent to the riots in the past to justify martial law.
Don't read the papers much, do you, now, Mouse?
Well, I do, but
They end up finding military hardware being used. They ended up finding a drug that has become an epidemic, trying not to let it spread from one city into another. They have ended up finding all forms of mass rioting that ended up happening, which I would suspect would have to end up doing with the idea of a group of Flan users suddenly losing their shit. And then you got all those kindred who ended up drinking somebody who was on Flan, and all of a sudden, well, that happens 2 or 3 nights in a row. What would you call it?
But that last bit, every one of those things is something that happens in Detroit daily.
Not in this scale and not this loudly. And if it happens to the wrong people, I mean, hell, there was one where in the nicest little neighborhood, some kid went up and missing.
How in the world are they justifying tying all of that together? It's random. It's not something that is contained. That is not something that is, oh, well, this is a blanket statement. We can actually answer it by saying, oh, this is a problem.
Really? They've done it for smaller things than this. See some of the shit that ended up happening in Louisiana?
Never been to Louisiana.
Read your history. That being said,
I've read history.
If it is the military, they have done a lot more.
Well, somebody's letting them know shit that they shouldn't.
I don't know. That's just kind of it. That's where my head's at. That's where, like, none of these events by themselves in a string would justify would really say, oh, well, this kid going missing is linked to the Flan outbreak. That's a stretch. Unless somebody was looking for something in particular.
Mouse, are you aware coffee is...
Oh, what?
It is drumming of hysteria in people who know no better. The more you do such things, the more people are very, very likely to accept things that, at a glance, at very much more of a glance, would be hysterical and irrational. It's rational thought. Because hysteria and fear is what drives.
Who would benefit from mass hysteria?
Those who seek to subvert the paradigm, paradigm, and take control. Who those those people.
God knows why, because he's a cook, a chef, not a...
You're gonna have to end up thinking a little bit more as to what is happening right now, Mouse. You said you want Fitzgerald. Okay, we're just gonna clean out one small space, call it a day.
That's not gonna cut it though.
Right now, it's all we can do, unless you have some kind of miracle, Second Inquisition be gone.
I don't. The best that we can hope for is really going to ground, waiting it out, let them leave, and then come back.
That at least.
Well, that's gonna end up being a little bit tricky now, ain't it?
That always is tricky.
There are two options when it comes to people such as these. I have never dealt with this Second Inquisition before. But if they are as dedicated to their cause as they seem to be, as you allude to, there are two options as to how to deal with things such as. The first is, as you said, you go to ground, you hide, wait for them, make them think that you are gone, that you died. Wait until they
Nosferatu in
leave.
the city are very good at that.
Let them leave, and then pick up the pieces that remains after. The second and much louder option is you meet them on the battle and you escalate the war.
That's not gonna happen, Andrew. The reason being is because they're using weapons that shoot frowns made of fire.
I never said it was a good option.
Well, how are we supposed to deal with Pride? I'm pretty sure he's not gonna end up just rolling over unless stomp in on turf because we used to have it.
Let me deal with Pride.
How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to end up hearing this one myself.
Because let's be honest, resources are getting kind of low.
Yes, they are. But the thing that you can do if you know your target is you twist. You put the clamps on and you twist. Make it in the best interest that they want to help. And I have, with Pride in particular, I have ways of doing this. Unfortunately, the issue arises that there is a beast in this city. You know the who, if she finds out, is going to make this little endeavor very difficult.
Yeah. That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
No, but it is what it is, and we must deal with it come what may, because our very existences depend on it.
Well, the first order of business really should be to get the people in that container fed. Because if we keep them fed, then we can hold out. If they're not, they're not going to last long.
Alright.
And if they don't last long, we don't last long, so...
Alright then, Mouse. I suppose that we're gonna have to end up coming up with something.
Yep.
You have a sink
So-
in here or something?
A sink? Would I know if there's a sink?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a wash station.
Yeah. There's one over there.
Yes, you should go and clean yourself up. The last thing we need is getting caught covered in blood.
Well, I was more
Last thing-
thinking on trying to end up at least kind of gestures to this herd stapled in boards. Like,
Getting them cleaned up.
Ugh, sponge baths.
I was more thinking on, not having them die of dehydration, but sure.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yes.
That's a good start.
And to end up informing you, what was your name again?
It's Andrew.
Andrew. Alright, Andrew. No, the clothes in the future, we didn't happen to end up coming up with that interesting fabric where stains come out like with just a little bit of soap and water. We haven't quite hit that level of technology yet.
It's been 27 years, but it hasn't been that.
Tell me, when that happened, were you shocked that we didn't have flying cars yet?
Of course,
No.
not in Detroit.
Given the city's history, I was kind of hoping, but guess we all share in those little disappointments. He starts walking over to the sink.
This city is basically a living ghost town, so.
Yes, laugh at the funny man who has been in a box for 30 years.
I mean,
Not that long. Not that long.
I mean, 1990. I mean, come on.
A washing machine still existed in 1990, Mouse, as did stain remover.
Huh?
Either way. So, why? Oh, why? Okay.
You ask why?
Well, it's more like lots of things in motion right now. Trying
Yes.
not to get overwhelmed. Because that's a thing that happens to me.
Well, you're going to have to keep yourself composed under pressure. Such is the nature of our existence that we are here to suffer under the outrageous slings of fortune.
I just want to come out of this alive.
Yes, well, that is up to you. Whether you come out of this alive or not. Decisions that you make, the friends that you make, the enemies that you, the resources and favors that you call in, the people that you talk to and how you talk to them. All of that decides your fate.
I've never been good at talking to people. I don't have anyone who owes me anything.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
well,
basically starting from nothing and kind of going from that to 60 miles an hour in 1 second. And I don't know what to do with myself. So, you...
I didn't think I'd ever become a monk. Well, such is life, I suppose, or earned life.
Tyler, after a while, ends up coming back with well, he seems completely drenched. Not like he has body heat to heat up, but at the very least, he seemed to have reduced it from being gore covered to at least just damp. Still trying to pat everything off as he's bringing what appears to be a bucket filled with water.
So, Andrew, you said something about Samantha. Are you trying
Yes.
to... I don't mean to sound like I am going to call you out for being Camarilla. But what good would that
Say
do?
what?
It's like, oh, he does not know. Well, I suppose I should be forward. Yes, I was. I do not know where I stand, but prior to 1991, when I was stuck in this box, I was a member of the Camari.
Oh, great.
I was put in there as
great.
I was put in there as a punishment by Prince Dufresne for one of my coterie members sympathizing with the Yannock.
If you roll with us, you're an Anarch sympathizer.
Yes, well, if I go back to her, I'm dead anyway. I want that. Hence
Well.
why I am here to help.
Great. We can be equally fucked together.
Yes, that is about the gist of the situation.
Oh, dear Lord. Explain to me what the fuck I did to end up deserving to be stuck. Okay. Alright? Lord, forgive me at this point. Alright. What does this have to do with Sam?
Wait, do you know Samantha?
Yeah, she kind of been butchering most of my people for how long now?
That's right.
That is like her. But she is my sire.
Okay, so that's a frenzy check right there.
Oh
Oh
no.
boy.
Oh no. Am
Oh
I gonna
boy.
have the stake green? I've still got the stake in my hand.
Well, it's only going to be difficulty here too, but
Come on, green,
and the
keep your
plus
shit
side,
together.
he has one willpower back, which doesn't change his dice pool at all. And you know, again, this is supposed to be a place for rest, so +1.
Ooh.
Whew.
Andrew, there you see in this man's eyes, he wants to tear you limb from limb. There is,
Of course
the
he does.
beast is inside him and wants you dead. Absolutely wants you dead.
And Andrew kind of looks over to Tyler with a almost sympathetic look. Like, yes, Mr. Green, I get that you're angry. The loss of one's comrades, brothers in arms, by the enemy is not something that one takes lightly. I understand. But in this situation, we must put aside our differences for our mutual survival. And she, as much as she has done wrong by you, will be able to help us do that, at least a little. We must take what it is that we can get, because if we do not, if we are not the most opportunistic, we are not on the ball 100% of the time, that single slip up will mean that one of us dies, or more of us die. Or that we lose.
What does she offer that you don't, Andrew?
Well, stimulating conversation seems to be the first thing.
Yes, you're very funny.
No, I'm not trying to be
Sure.
funny. Bitch, don't talk. She
No,
find you,
she's-
she tear you. That's all there is to it.
That's been our interactions anyway.
Well, you're the one who shot her.
Yeah, I nearly put her in the ground. You should thank me for that.
Andrew, there is something in you that all of a sudden, you're pretty sure whatever was in green just jumped into you because your arm wants to lash out and take Mouse's face off for that.
So, let's, for the sake of our sanities, let's not discuss that particular topic of conversation.
All right.
Either way, despite what it is that she has done, she can offer experience, power.
In what fashion? Nobody has a foothold here. Nobody has the resources. Nobody has really anything going for them.
She is a resource, Mouse. Her very being is a resource.
Yes, she's a heavy hitter. Cool. So are most of us.
Yes, but the other thing is that not only is she a heavy hitter, but she has played in the Camarilla. She knows what it means to be a part of the princely court. And maybe, just maybe, we might be able to leverage that against the woman who wants to kill it. And by extension, for you being anarchs, you as well. You think if that Humvee comes back and she sees us, we're not just going to get exterminated like that? It doesn't matter how powerful the three of us are together.
She's got distance, Dekka. She's got distance on her side, and we need something to close that distance.
Exactly. And I think Sam might be the perfect opportunity to do such things.
What is the nature of Dekka and Sam's relationship, aside from the fact that Dekka stole the Scourge ship in Winnipeg?
They hate each other. Thoroughly hate each other. They have been at odds for easily twice as long as they have been a kindred. Their rivalry is easily as old as Winnipeg itself. To get out on top, we must play on the ancient loggerheads.
Cammy's got a point. You really think you can pull this off, Cammy?
You don't
If
think
I do,
that
if I
Samantha...
do, we win. If I don't, we die. Quite frankly, I would call that somewhat of a win-win situation given the current state of the city, wouldn't you say?
Green looks to Mouse for his call.
Hedging my bets, I don't. Well, if you think you can do it, Andrew. But I don't want to hedge my bets on something that's a maybe.
Mouse, your very survival at this point in time rests on a maybe.
I like guarantees.
Of course, everyone likes guarantees. It is not a luxury we currently cannot.
You still haven't really.
Go ahead.
You still haven't really said what it is that she can do that you can't. What does she add to this?
Would I know she's got in terms of capabilities over myself?
Roll me intelligence plus politics.
Yeah. Just note that this is going to be absolutely terrible.
Yep. Andrew's not the best informed kindred ever going, but
no, really not.
No. Andrew, you know that she's Scourge. You know that she has a lot of abilities that are not typical to your clan. You know that she's very resentful of the loss of not only station, but to a political rival. As far as what she adds to you, or adds over you, bluntly, age. She's been at this a lot longer than probably the three of you in this room put together.
So Andrew puts his hands together and looks at the two anarchs, the Bruhara and the Nosferatu. He's like, let's start with the basics then. Age. She has been at this game longer than the three of us put together. That experience speaks volume. Second, she was a scourge in Winnipeg's court. She is capable of a great many things that my clan, the clan she and I share, are not capable of. That kind of experience and raw, unrestrained power. This is what we need to survive. Because we have our little tricks. But the tricks do not mean anything without a lot of experience behind them. And whilst I am sure I have more experience than both of you, she has more experience than all of us. Uniting under that kind of charge is, trust me, the best idea for survival. I would add it further that, yes. And furthermore, due to her hatred of Decker, as I said, we can use that loggerhead to our advantage.
What is Decca's relationship to the rest of the court then?
Dufresne keeps her around. She is brutally efficient at what it is that she does. She is a killer, tactician. In fact, if she was still alive, I am sure she would probably be a general in the military. She is ruthlessly efficient, with almost an obsessive focus on her targets. And then you add Malkavian on top of that. She is a force to be reckoned with. Why do you think I didn't want to be caught by her?
Andrew, you would know also one other thing, or at least a rumor. Some people say she's been around since the invention of the blunderbuss, which would explain her particular knack with firearms despite her age.
Now, I do not normally like to deal with rumors, but some people say that she has been around a very long time. Some people say that she is old enough that she saw the invention of the blunderbuss, one of the first firearms. She has a scary knack for the kind inventions.
I've been witness to that, yeah.
Andrew, would you be so kind as to give me and Mouse a minute?
Of course. You two speak. I'm going to go get a little bit more of that night air. I'll be standing right by the door.
Don't get spotted.
Obviously.
Okay.
And he's gonna go up.
You take a minute. It's at that point Green and Mouse have a moment to speak.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. What he's talking about, I know what he's talking about.
Stinks too much of a trap.
It's not the trap I'm worried about. Mouse, do you know what it... If she has a lot of other abilities, little knacks, you know how she would have got them? How a Scourge gets them? Why they're so goddamn scary?
Not particularly.
Bitch be
I
a
don't-
cannibal.
What? Cannibal?
Yeah. As in, she finds you, she kills you, she eats you.
Hmm.
And if she has been doing that long, and she has a whole slew of other tricks that most others of his kind, whatever that would be, has he even told you what clan he is?
Not particularly, but I have a suspicion.
Great. Well, that means that she's used to eating whatever she's killing. That's a quick road to power with a person who can become very unhinged very quickly and tends to end up not being a, how shall I put this, a subtle answer.
But I've also heard the thing that you feed off your kind for long enough and things just start to pop up. When it comes to like other powers and stuff like that. I mean, if she's been at this game long enough, she's fed on dozens, if not hundreds, in the course of like eons at this point.
What are we up against here? Really, Mouse, what are we up against?
Surviving.
That's right. So, as much as I would love to end up having a hitter like that, as much as I would love to end up having that, how do you keep her under control?
I don't have a way. I don't have leverage on her, and I don't have leverage on Andrew, really. So, that's my hesitation right now.
Well,
I don't want to.
if you're
Not really.
asking,
You know somebody better?
no. But you need to make Andrew as near dependent on you as the rest of us are. And if she ends up coming knocking, she has a choice. She either eats her own kid or she flips. That's pretty much the only two options we got until we know exactly who we're dealing with and what the hell they want. I don't know, sell it, you know? Here's your chance. You got backup, you end up having a new city, you got your child back, I don't know. But if he's on the level, as on the level as Cammy can be, and this is something that we can't pass up. If he can actually talk to Pride, get Pride to back down, play ball in any capacity, you want Fitzgerald, we got to do it.
Yeah, he brings a lot to the table. But I gotta make him... Okay. Cool.
But right now, I would end up saying, if you're going to do that, you need to find some way to sink your hooks into that boy, or else... Well...
Or is he gonna walk all over me? I've had enough of that in my lifetime.
Ain't no time to play patty cake, Mouse. There ain't no time.
Nope. Not at all. Alright. So I call Andrew back over.
Yeah, he'll come back over.
Okay. So you've made a pretty decent case for yourself as far as your usefulness to our little operation here. But you haven't really given us a reason to want to take Samantha on. So, the thing of it being is that we show up with you. What exactly are we looking at? Is she gonna want to like embrace you and just be like, "Hey, welcome back! I found you. Hey, we're cool. Thank you very much, Mouse and Mr. Green, for bringing me back my child." What do we get after that?
Well, my
And
job is to
keep in
my
mind,
job is to find her anyway. But outside there, what she can offer you is unknown to me.
okay. See, that's the part that I'm concerned about.
Remember that I have been in the box for 27.
Right. That's the part I'm concerned about. You can't promise me that she's gonna listen. You can't promise me that she's gonna be excited about seeing you. You can't promise me what it is that she can offer us. So give me a reason why I should.
Well, on that,
I'm not, like I said, I'm not sticking my neck out if I don't have to.
one moment.
Well, I'll end up saying this much. The fact of the matter is right now, there's got to be some stability.
Mm.
Now, as far as I am concerned, you might end up finding yourself you might end up hearing yourself how shall I put this, having to talk to a lot of people you are not going to be comfortable with. Do you have any intention on using it? Are you really going to say okay to every single lick that decides to crawl in and through your floorboards?
We don't have enough. We don't have enough resources for that. I don't want to turn everyone away, but I don't want people to think that. I mean, I genuinely just want the kindred population of this city to survive. Really.
You ain't gonna feed an entire city with 30 people, Mouse.
No, I know that.
I'm not going to know
Go ahead.
such time as I can go and find her. To begin with. And then, after I know the way things are, once I know the way things are, I may be able to get her to help in. At the very least, something that I know she'll be able to. Rounding up some extra kindred
I have.
who may be loyal to the cause and kind from which we can.
I have a suggestion. You go and find her, and I'll give you what the Camarilla knows as far as how to get around the city. You find her. She's either going to buy it or she's not, and we'll know when you come back.
That you will.
And if you want anything else as far as a sip out of this herd, you're going to be successful.
Well, to be fair, if I'm not successful, worry about any.
And that's your solution.
Well,
Then we are in agreement then.
you'll have to pardon me at this point, but if this is gonna be a case of we need to end up getting a masked bitch on our side, I'd like to end up seeing this for myself. Because right now, I owe her. She killed a lot of my sisters and brothers. And right now, I am not happy about that. But if I gotta end up, I am less happy about letting a kid walk off scot-free in that regard. So you'll pardon me here, Mouse, but if we're going to be here playing ball, I want to end up seeing this for myself. More importantly, if she does play ball, I need to figure out on how the hell to end up using her to be able to end up getting Fitzgerald back for you. You dig?
I dig. Then, shall we all go?
Hate to end up pointing this out the obvious, Mouse, but if we all go, who's looking after the farm?
Oh, that's true.
You have somebody in mind?
In this building? No, not right now. So I guess I'm staying put.
Alright. There is... Well... Mr. Andrew, what was the name?
Kuznetsov.
Alright, I'm just gonna call you Mr. Chaos from now on. Well, Mr. Chaos, shall we end up getting going? We're burning moonlight.
Yes, Mr. Green, I think we shall depart and see where this little gamble takes.
Remember, you got the drop on me last time. That ain't happening again. Just something to remember.
Well,
Both of you
all I
have
can
fun and play nice.
all I can respond to you with, Mr. Green, is that you play nice and I will not have a reason.
And with that, I'm pretty sure this witty bit of banter is going to continue to echo down the halls as they start walking towards the exit. Mouse,
Oh, you better believe that better.
you have a moment to yourself. It's a quiet moment. You can look at the bodies. There are a bunch of terrified people who are trying not to look at you but can't turn their eyes away. A bucket of water. Pile of remains that every so often, every time you stop paying attention, starts to get picked to pieces by the ravens inside the warehouse.
Suppose I better clean up. Start cleaning things up. Start making sure that any kind of like fluids maintenance thing is kept up and full, and just so that these people don't die of dehydration. And what have I gotten myself into?
It's difficult. You try and do your best to end up caring for these people, but you can definitely tell that a few of them, you don't even need a medicine roll to know that they're malnourished. Some of them are damn near skeletal, probably existing on nothing more than a few grains of rice a day.
They need food.
Maybe they've been specifically cultivated like that. Somebody's particular blend. So that's all these are, really. Wine bottles with skin. Terrified of when the cork's gonna be pulled.
Bougie kindred like their bougie tastes.
And as you're going through that, as you finish putting the last of the bloody mop water down the sink, a little bit of bleach mixed in, trying to make the stains go away, you hear something. You're looking about. You probably take to the shadows as you do.
As I do.
As you do. You end up here seeing a particular individual. This individual looks completely normal, I guess you could say. Almost boring, you keep looking at him. And there is something about it. But somebody, you can't pin the face, but you know the trick is in the eye.
What do I see in those eyes?
You see something that is a faint glow, mirroring your own. And after a moment, the guise fades away. The room fills with a small bit of black smoke. It doesn't burn. Small lights emanate from the body. A Nosferatu you are familiar with, Blight, starts to look about.
That's when I come out from the shadows. Fancy meeting you here.
Now keep in mind, they have not seen what it is that you've been cleaning up.
Yep.
Yes, I imagine so. Is Mr. Seraph in?
You went to his office.
Pity I missed him.
He's there if you're looking for him specifically.
Partially.
Nobody comes looking for me, so.
That's not true. Phage looked for you.
Why would Phage look for me? He hates me.
I think that's why he looked for you. I'm not going to waste much of your time, Mouse. But I will say this. I hear Baron Mason might be having a particular spat with an old colleague of his. Professional courtesy. It would seem that him and Screw are not getting along as roommates.
Nobody gets along with Screw. He's an asshole.
That's the only time you and me have ever agreed. But I thought you would also like to know that means if he were evicted, certain avenues would open up.
What's the intention here?
No intention. Family matter. I don't like you, Mouse.
Nobody does.
No. Well, that's not true now, is it? Not every Nosferatu makes friends with a blue blood. Not every Nosferatu has the deadheads come calling. Not every Nosferatu can get a truck across a city that's locked down. That makes you quite valuable. I would make an offer of knowledge.
For what in exchange?
I need to know why. Why do you make allies from hated enemy? Ones that your own sire would have put to the torch.
Because as much as I miss him, I'm not him. I am not Gutter. I am Mouse. I make my own way. I make my own friends. I make my own enemies. When those people deserve it.
And why do they come
When
to
I
you
have done
now?
that wrong. Because it is a desperate time.
It is.
And the last thing that we need, the last thing that anyone deserves, is to be shut out because of old grudges. I hate when people are treated unfairly.
Unfairly.
I hate it.
You would have made an excellent brew, huh?
Maybe. But the best that I can do is try and help people. Because that's what Gutter did for me.
And what would you give if you could return the favor?
Return the favor.
Slip of the tongue.
No. What do you mean by that?
At that point, Blight starts going towards what seems to be the office.
I asked you a question.
She stops. Doesn't turn around. You just see the wisping of smoke from her body, and the fading lights. When Phage was taken from me, I asked myself, what could I have done to save them? And while I keep telling myself nothing, I keep thinking of my child. And what I would give to bring them back. Perhaps it's some maternal instinct that hasn't completely atrophied. I just thought it would be wonderful if I had a hope that I could still hold them. You're lucky in that way, Mouse. You're lucky.
Why? I'm not lucky at all. Everything's gone.
With that lone thought, everything's gone. And the whispers of what would you do to get him back. We're going to bring this episode to a close.
Can't tell if she's fucking playing me.
Wouldn't that be the best of Nosferatu, though?
I want to
Who knows?
fucking insight check her so bad. Can I insight check her real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I need to figure out if she's bullshitting me. And that I'm willing to spend willpower on.
Don't you only have one?
I only have one, so. And so we'll re-roll those two.
Alright.
Oh, that turns that into a bestial crit.
We'll worry about that later.
Okay.
What you do know. She said verbal slip definitely wasn't a verbal slip. The intent seems to be that of a mixed emotion. One hand, if her child can't exist, why should Gutters, which is definitely wanting to get you in trouble and see you executed for it in the attempt. But then there's another one that definitely feels true. What you wouldn't give to have the Phage back. And what you would give for the chance to do it. Maybe she's empathizing with you. Maybe she's playing on your empathy. But either way, one thing's certain. At least she believes Gutter's still alive.
Fuck.
I
Fuck.
saw a body.
No. Shit. Oh, he would be so angry at me. What do I even say to Gutter at this point if he's alive? He would be so mad.
So with that, we're gonna resolve some stains.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, Morse check. Morse dice are 2 in this regard. Green is not feeling good about this hunt in the slightest.
I shall remorse as well.
Yep.
Ha!
Andrew? Yeah, it's what needed to be done. It secured a few things for you. You are doing fantastic. Now, that being said, Mouse, you know the usual drill. Well, since you're right now the only actual player here, we're going to end up calling it a flat 3 experience this bit. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, Volvo couldn't make it today, as he had prior engagements. So, real life
man.
comes first. We know that. So, thank you very much, Coffee Cat, for coming in today. And everybody, please give a warm round of applause for Lethality Complex, who ended up deciding to come in and ended up playing Andrew, who, wonderful little character to end up introducing some facets and help out in fleshing out our own corner of the world of darkness. So,
Well, thank you.
what'd you guys think?
Very nice, very nice.
Oh yeah, no, that was great.
Oh man, I have 15 experience. What am I doing? What was I saving up for?
Well,
I think I was saving for Resolve 3.
Well, you'd have it.
they asked me.
Yeah.
Definitely mentally tougher at this point.
Oh yeah.
Now,
You
that
know what?
being
I am
said,
gonna do that with my XP. Is Resolve 3. Cool. That gives me an extra willpower now.
yep.
Oh. Y'all, if Gutter's still alive, I'm gonna be wrecked. Especially if he's gonna be
Wrecked.
bad.
Well, who do you think would have been holding him this entire time?
Baron Mason.
More specific.
Screw?
Blight doesn't hit. Blight is not sloppy. You know her for quite a few things. Sloppy is not one of them.
I don't. As in, wait. I'm very
you know what,
confused.
no worries.
I'm a little confused. Who specifically would have him?
You already answered that one.
Okay. What was the next thing that you said?
I end up saying that Blight is not known to be sloppy.
Especially with her words.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and Screw is kind of an important bit.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take 20 minutes to kind of just make myself something to eat, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to jump into VTM Workshop. We're going to end up going over,
Oh, also,
odds and ends. Ooh,
willpower recovery for Desire?
yes, certainly. Let's double check that Desire. Yep, that is a willpower recovery.
Oh, thank Christ.
Oh,
I'd also ask you the same.
Thunder.
Just as a point of being, like going through the motions of actually playing this character.
Yes, most certainly. Because I do remember
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Mouse is going to have to
Uh,
recover health at some point.
Spectre, I have not selected a workshop just yet, but if there's something in particular you wanted to end up covering, by all means. Right now, I am thinking on discussing on personal plots, how to tie that into politics and what have you. Or maybe I should just end up inviting Yusef and he can end up bantering on me on the actual details on what like all the wonderful little facsimiles in government that I am not particularly well educated on and how I could potentially be screwing it on or screwing it up. So much like my sentences. Is Yusef, you like to bust my balls every single session at this point. I'm going, oh god, fuck it, I flush it. I flush the whole thing. No more. Keep it to ghost stories. But, yeah, we will be back in, now 19 minutes. So, I hope to end up seeing you all there, and we will continue in a moment. I'm going to log off and start the Be Right Back screen, and we'll jump in when we can. Until then, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
And there he is trying to get the last good night in again. But I'm in control now. Good night, everybody.